Hi guys, thank you so much Hair Raiser Fellowship for having me as a part of this. My name is Craig Roach. I'm going to be showing you some things that I do backstage when I travel the world for fashion weeks. I'm going to try and keep it as close to an actual hair show as I can and try and stay within time limits. And then we'll go from there. I'm going to introduce you to Rebecca, our model. I'm sure you've all met her at some point. What we're going to do is go through this process of what we did at Valentino this year for Paris Haute Couture. I was lucky enough to be on Guido's team for Haute Couture in Paris this season, and I'm going to demonstrate the look that we did for Valentino. I've got a couple of cameras set up. I'm going to go through this routinely, as in how we would do it behind the scenes backstage, so you can learn a little bit of what happens backstage. I'm going to put a GoPro on my head and look really silly, and maybe give you a little bit of a better insight as to where hands are, positioning, how it works around the head, and all that sort of fun stuff. So we'll get underway. I'll run you through some tools that we have backstage. To start with, I have my GoPro here. I'm going to run through a couple of things. This is pretty much what we use behind the scenes, if that makes any sense. We are going to be using a round brush today, a teasing brush. You all know what a hairdryer is. Water spray bottle, super important. I use the Siebel Micro Demister. Has a very fine water spray to it, therefore you're not going to overly saturate the hair. Barber tape, a flat brush, tail comb with a metal point. I love these clips. These are old school French aluminium clips. They don't heat up. They sit really flat to the head. They're just wonderful to use. Flat clips, behind the scenes, make sure you put your name on them. They disappear very quickly. Pins, hat elastic, a hairnet, clear elastics, a few products, coffee, hair pieces, and a backstage pass so you can get backstage. So I'm going to put that on, and then we're going to get underway and start doing some hair. Now I'll put this on. As I said, I'm going to look foolish, but you're going to get a good insight on how this sort of works and where we go to. Now, Rebecca has turned up 7 AM in the morning. This is what her hair is generally going to look like. She's not happy to be here. We're not overly happy to be here at this time of the morning, but this is what we do. We love it, so we stay in it. Now, what we do with Valentino, it's a really pretty ponytail look. There's a couple of braids incorporated into it. As you can see behind me, there's some braids that are pre-done, but I will also run that through with you as well. Rebecca's hair is pretty good. What I'm going to do is just polish some spray into that. And we're just going to start directional and prepping and get her underway. TG bedhead, queen for a day. It is backstage everywhere. It's one of the main products that we use behind the scenes in a lot of shows, unless it's product sponsored, obviously. Gives a really nice little grip to the hair without it being ridiculously tacky. Lets you work it. Has good hold, good shine. What I'm going to do is get Rebecca parted in the middle. We're going for a perfect centre part here. When I say perfect centre part, Guido will want that absolutely perfect. Anything off is going to ruin the look. Valentino is a very classic, beautiful look. Always is, probably always will be. I'm just guessing here at the moment for where we are, but we're pretty close. Now forgive me if I get distracted at all. I don't talk a lot when I'm concentrating, which isn't a good thing, but that's life. And I'm pretty much going to try and take this through in one shot, so you can get an idea of time-wise and how we work backstage as well. Dryer, round brush. Because it's all coming into a low ponytail, we're only really looking for polish in the top area and a little bit of directional blow drying so that part stays nice and clean. Now, like I said, thank you so much to Hair Razor Fellowship for putting this on. This is a really special thing that they're doing. I think it's really impressive. I've known Stevie for a long time. More than happy to help him with anything that he's doing within the industry, whenever he needs it. So hopefully, what we're raising here today for this will actually go towards some really good causes. Okay, so you can see I've sort of got the shape coming into place here. I know where I want everything to sit. Pretty sure if I just sort of look at that, that part's a little bit out, so I'm just going to work on that a little bit. One of the things you'll learn about backstage, I know in a salon, putting things in your mouth is a no-no. There's no time. We don't have a bench, don't have anything. We just do whatever we can in that time allotment. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is we're going to take a couple of sections out of here. Now this is the feature piece in the Valentino look, which is two triangle pieces just in the top area. Not too big. So what we want to make sure is they can come down to where the low ponytail is going to sit, just below the occipital. That's going to go pretty close. I'm going to find a matching piece on this side. And again, we're pretty close there. Those out of the way. The reason I like these clips is they don't leave any marks anywhere. Same with the little clips as well. What I'm going to do is just rub my fingers with a little bit of a matte paste. What we're going to do with these sections here is these are all going to get plaited out of the way. You all know how to plait, I would think. Shouldn't have to teach you these sorts of things, but who knows, I'm not the best at it, so we'll see how we go. Now this just starts a little bit lower. Generally we would have probably 2 people working on this, so there'd be one on each side. A lot of the time we work in teams behind the scenes, but it's just me today. Sorry, you stuck with me. Just down until it probably comes into that ponytail, just a little bit further than that. And then we're just going to clear elastic that. That doesn't have to be too perfect because that's going to come off again a bit later. And again, we're just going to match the other side. Again, clear elastic. Just going to loosely wrap that around. Like I said, not too neat because we're going to cut it again a bit later. Just going to get these bits out of the way. What we're going to do is bring this back into a ponytail right on the occipital. So what I'm going to use is my flat brush, my mini mason. What we're doing here is we're using the brush's point. Lets me get these longer bristles into the scalp and start bringing everything through. And as I gather it into my hand, it starts to take shape and sits a bit flatter to the head. Now don't rush this bit, this is probably the most important bit. Getting it into that shape, and that's what creates the real prettiness and the softness about this look. Using things like a fine tooth comb can help you bring that in a little bit tighter. A lot of the time you'll see a lot of people using a lot of hairspray at this point. I'm not a fan. I think that once you overly lock hair with hairspray, it's gone. It's much easier to take it out if you can't get it right without the hairspray than to try and brush it all out and start again. happy with how this shape's getting. Once you sort of get into this point, this is when I sort of say, I start adding a little bit of spray just to keep everything in. I'm just going to be really light on this. I'm just going to start using the teasing brush just to keep everything in check. And again, just back to the finer tooth comb, just to bring it all into place.